It's 1 a.m. Saturday night going into Sunday morning. Went to the Ohio State Minnesota football game earlier tonight. Had a fantastic time. Took quite a while to get home. I got home at about midnight, and I've been scrolling TikTok for a little bit. And I've seen a lot of videos about the flotilla that was heading to the Gaza Strip over the ocean, and they've been under attack from Israeli military. Some of their members have been abducted. There's been footage of Greta Thunberg essentially being tortured by Israeli military personnel. They forced her to kiss an Israeli flag. All sorts of maltreatment going on. Allegedly, she was taken and beaten. And I've only tangentially been following this for the last couple weeks because there's been a lot going on here at home in the U.S. And the thing about autocrats, dictators, however you want to describe these people, is they always overreach. They always overreach. And I'm gravely concerned about Greta Thunberg right now and the other people in this flotilla. Because the Israeli military, the Israeli government, Bibi Netanyahu, is either going to eventually release them or they're not. Greta Thunberg has notoriety. If they do release her after treating her the way that they did, she's obviously going to speak out very publicly on that. That would seem to be inconsistent with Bibi Netanyahu's current worldview regarding dissent and regarding people who disagree with him and the policies of his government and the practices of his military inside the Gaza Strip and the practices of his military towards this flotilla and the people who occupy it. If these people are released, they are going to speak very publicly, repeatedly, and very often to anyone who will listen. And this is coming at a time when he has also admitted that the TikTok deal that Donald Trump is putting together is placing TikTok squarely in the hands of pro-Israeli Zionists who are going to do what those folks do with things like social media and things like dissent or dissenting opinions, dissenting views. So I'm gravely concerned about Greta Thunberg and the other people in that flotilla right now. Some of whom have been abducted by Israeli military. Are they going to be released? Are they going to be allowed to speak out about the treatment that they've received over the last several days? Is that something that Bibi Netanyahu would permit to happen? Them being released and being permitted to speak out? It doesn't seem so. It doesn't seem so. And Donald Trump is overreaching like crazy here at home. And it may seem minor, but he got his ass handed to him by us relative to Jimmy Kimmel, which it's crazy that that's what galvanized white people, Disney and ABC, and Jimmy Kimmel. That's a fucking trip to me. That's a whole different subject. That's the one thing that caused us to rise up. Don't take my late night host. I mean, I know there are bigger principles involved, but Donald Trump's only a couple of steps behind Bibi Netanyahu in his use of the military here on American soil. And he's trying hard to catch up. And Pete Hegseth is going to help him. Fortunately, both of them completely flopped in their speeches to the United States military this past Tuesday. And I've taken this week off pretty much from the news and from TikTok, but my brain has still been doing what my brain does, whether I want it to or not, and the things that it thinks about, and the pathways that it follows, and the progressions that it follows in thinking things through. And I think we are rapidly approaching the end of what I would call the dabbling phase for Trump and for Netanyahu when it comes to things like social media, where they're working towards consolidating power, they're working towards consolidating control, they're working towards controlling information. We're getting to the end of that process where they will have control over those things. Whether Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth will have actual control over the United States military, I think, is far from achieved from their perspective. I mean, Hegseth was met with dead silence at the end of his speech. Not one person in that room clapped, all the senior military. Donald Trump received the same silence, and that rattled him. It visibly rattled him. He didn't know what to do with that. He'd never experienced anything like that before. He thought he was walking into a campaign rally of supporters. But will that be enough to stop what he wants to do? Because he wants to do in the United States what Bibi Netanyahu and the Israeli military have done inside of Israel and continue to do. Openly torture, detain, kill their own citizens. So, yeah, it's 1 a.m. This thought process is not concluded on my part, but that's where it's at right now. I think we as an entire nation are getting rapidly close to the find out phase because we fucked around and re-elected this guy. And every single one of us is going to be there in the find out phase when we find out what happens when we fucked around like that. I didn't vote for him, but here we are. Anyway, I just had to get that all out of my head before I went to sleep. Otherwise, it would still be in my head when I wake up in the morning, and that's not how I really wanted to start my day. So I hope everybody has an amazing, fun Sunday. I'm going to spend my entire day with family here in Ohio before heading back to the Bay Area on Tuesday. Be safe, everybody. It's taking on an entirely new level of meaning right now. Please be safe.